Fuzzfinger here, and today we're going to be carrying on with our FF13-2 walkthrough, and we'll be heading to Yaschas Massif 01X AF.
Of the Farseer city, Padra. This was the capital of a flourishing civilization, storied in the annals of Grand Pulse. Here, the young Hope Estime is leading the Academy in an effort to learn more about the mysterious Oracle Drive. However, this world is not like the world of 10AF that Noel and Sarah had visited previously. Things have changed.
The sun is back in the sky.
The eclipse is over.
So we'll be starting off on the east side of the map, and we want to be going north up to the village.
If the paradox didn't happen, then maybe Hope never had any reason to come here.
There's still the Oracle.
There's a gate seal here that you'll want to grab.
Draw for. Only one way to find out.
There's a few side quests we'll be doing in this zone, but the story is quite brief here.
Yule said that changing the future will also change the past. Is this what she meant? The eclipse doesn't happen because we solved the paradox in the future?
Maybe. But we can't be sure.
If the future changes, the past changes too. Isn't that how it normally works?
No, that's not how it works. Usually it's changes in the past that affect the future, and that's why this is so confusing.
Oh, right. Sounds like Yule is the one who's confused.
Sarah, please, can you work with me on this?
The foul sea that caused the eclipse. What was it looking for up in the sky?
The future, maybe? Who knows?
So this Yaschas Massif is actually the same time period as the one we went to a couple of videos ago, but it's sort of like a parallel time. So the characters are pretty much the same, but they won't remember us being here from before.
Welcome home.
How did you...
Yule. Did you come through the gate too?
The one you met was a different Yule. A Yule from the future.
What?
So, you don't know me either.
I know about you. I've been watching you both.
You can see the future, can't you?
I can trace the timeline. I see the future and lead others along the correct path. I came here to confirm something I already know. You and I are the same.
What do you mean?
You, too, can show others the way.
Wait. I don't get it. How are we the same?
So after the cutscene, you can talk to Noel or your other or Sarah if you're controlling Noel.
Yeah, it was just so unexpected. Threw me for a loop.
I wonder if Caius is somewhere around too, like he was back in Erba.
If he does show up again, it's going to be trouble.
Uh-huh. Next time, I don't think he'll be so quick to let us go.
Yeah, fingers crossed there is no next time.
So there's a few cutscenes on the way, as you can tell.
Journeyed through time, solved the paradox, and met two girls who looked exactly the same. And now, at last, we found our way back to Hope's Oracle Drive. He'll be waiting for us. Or perhaps he won't. Maybe after all this time, Hope has forgotten us.
And now hopefully we can head up to where Hope is and Elisa without any further interruption.
Afraid of what would happen if no one was here.
I guess Just the ruins were interesting enough. They didn't need the paradox to draw them here.
You can shop at Chocolina before we carry on if you need to buy any potions or anything of that nature. There's still no new weapons to buy.
I hope I'm not in the way.
So Hope's in the same location that he's in the previous Yaschas Massif timeline. At the top of the ramp.
I've started investigating the ruins nearby.
There's going to be some side quests to pick up here as well, but we'll sort them out after we finish the main storyline. So for now, just keep heading up. And
This is so crowded today.
be prepared when we speak to Hope. There's about 10 minutes of cutscenes.
What are you waiting for?
I don't know. But I think they'll be here soon.
Just keep speaking to him after each cutscene to keep advancing the story until he's got nothing more to say.
In a world where the paradox was solved, the eclipse never darkened the sky in the first place. No one remembered that Noel and I had been here. But even so, Hope was there, waiting for us. Of course, his memories had changed. We had our 10-year reunion all over again, as if our last meeting had never happened. When we explained his memories had changed because the paradox had been dissolved, Hope believed us without question. And then...
I have something I want to show you.
It is lightning!
This is a recording of the future. We're unable to identify the location or circumstances. There is one thing we're sure about, however. And remember, we don't know what era this is. Lightning is alive in that place. In my memory, Lightning disappeared after the battle with Orphan. But she's living somewhere in the future.
So it's not just a dream, is it?
She's out there.
Then I'm going to find her. Koopa Koopa?
And you will find her, Sarah. After all, you traveled through time and found me. Many years of research have finally borne fruit. It all began with the Oracle Drive. We excavated it from ruins many centuries old. Yet it recorded an image of Cocoon, supported on a pillar of crystal. It was an impossibility, an enigma. Impossible, but a reality nonetheless. This is when I learned what I must do. If it was possible to journey through time and look into the future, then it must also be possible to travel backwards and change the past.
Right.
I wanted to change history, make things better, not just bring Lightning back, but Vanille, and Fang, and my mother.
So that's what your research was about.
Chasing the impossible, you might say. But you've made me realize something. It's clear to me now we are not the only ones who are intervening in history.
Oh?
The past has already been changed. Sarah, you are the only one who remembers a time when Lightning survived the fall of Cocoon.
Yeah.
Director!
Caius.
What happened? Did the prophecy get rewritten?
Not necessarily rewritten. It could be the original prophecy restored as it once was. Perhaps a continuation of the first recording.
If this is showing us the future, then someday Cocoon will fall. Noel, you told me in your time, Cocoon didn't exist like it does now.
Yeah, it came to ground long before I was born. After it happened, the whole world just fell apart pretty much.
But who made it fall? Could it have been Caius?
No, he couldn't do that.
When is Cocoon supposed to fall? How many years? Is it soon?
No, not for a couple of centuries.
Oh, that's a long time from now. I mean, none of us will even be alive to see it.
But others will. Cocoon will fall into Grand Pulse. Imagine the catastrophe. Think how many lives will be destroyed.
Right. That's the future I lived in.
It doesn't have to happen. No, we can change the future. We can stop Cocoon from falling and make your world a better place.
Yeah, but how? You think you can go to the time when it falls and hold it up yourselves? Do you even have a gate to take you there?
Well,
It might not be necessary to travel to the specific time and place.
How so?
The future depends on what we do now, right? Yes, there is a chance Cocoon will fall, but we can start working now to prevent it from happening.
Right.
But what if you can't, Hope?
We can at least work to mitigate the damage. If we begin our research now, we have time. Then, should Cocoon indeed fall, we can help protect the planet and save the victims.
Okay, let's do it. We can try to solve things at the other end, in the future. While you start preparing in the here and now.
Yes, let's change the future.
If you change the future...
If you change the future, you change the past.
Sarah?
It's nothing. Hope, thank you for the help.
Time will separate us, but we'll share a common goal.
Hope dreamed of changing the past. The weight of history drove him forward. But now, he's turning to face the future. A future even more frightening than the past. Sarah, do you believe too? Do you believe in your own past?
Lightning was fighting in Valhalla. That's where I met her. And that's when she told me to come and find Sarah.
I see. Valhalla, otherwise known as the Unseen World.
I think Lightning wants us to fix the timeline. Put it back how it was. Maybe that's why she gave me the power to travel through time and control monsters.
She was unable to do anything on her own, so she turned to the one person she trusted more than anyone. Yes, it is possible, although the idea raises even more questions.
What do we have to do to find Lightning?
Solve the paradoxes, correct the timeline. Restore history as it should have been. Then you will find Lightning alive. Of that, I'm sure.
In that history, does Cocoon stay in the sky?
Noel, you were born into a different future. In our world, in our future, Cocoon survives. When the paradoxes are eliminated, Cocoon remains safe in the sky.
You're saying I was born into a future created by the warping of a timeline?
Yes, I believe so. My task is to save Cocoon.
And we have to travel across time to protect the future.
If we succeed, you'll be reunited with Lightning. I guess we know what we have to do.
Believe in your future. You can bring the people you love together again.
It seems unbelievable the crystal pillar could become so fragile.
It was weakened, little by little, over many centuries. The war was simply the straw that broke Cocoon's back. But what does Caius want?
It seems unbelievable that...
It was weakened, but what does
I'll try to help in any way I can.
No. You know, I started this journey hoping to find my sister. But now, I want more. I want to save the future.
So do I, Sarah. So do I. Time to travel again.
Find the gate and the key, Kupo.
Okay, so finally we have control of the party once again, and we can access the area that was blocked off in the previous parallel universe thingy. So there's nothing to do in this bit, I was just having a look for any hidden chests. Instead, just head straight up the ramp. We're going to be able to grab the artifact from the top that unlocks the next story destination gate. You can see the waypoints on the map, but you won't get lost.
Something would happen. Important relics have been detected nearby. Who knows?
Go, Mog.
So grab this chest, and then you can grab the gate, which is the artifact, which is just next to this chest. Right over here. And once we have the artifact, that's actually it for the main story. It's just a case of going to the gate and then we can move on. But like I said, there is a few side quests I want us to get done while we're here, to get some more fragments.
Alright then. Where's the gate that fits this key?
So you can take that shortcut that I just jumped over to get down. And then just run all the way down the ramp. And there's a dude just at the bottom over here that we can speak to. Now the quest he actually gives us we're not going to be able to do just yet.
Many years ago, there was a young girl who worshipped the seeress of Padra. With much training and dedication, the girl secured herself a position as one of the protectors of the seeress. But when war broke out in the city, the girl was fooled by the enemy and wound up betraying the one she set out to protect. Charged with treason, the girl faced severe punishment. She was turned into a Sith and was forced to wander the Yaschas Massif for all of eternity. According to the legend, she's still there, waiting for someone to defeat her and help put her soul to rest. I don't know how much truth there is to that story, but if you ever spot a Sith in the ruins, you should do it justice and kill it. You'd be doing it a favor by putting it out of its misery. If you want to set her free, I won't stop you. But remember, even though she used to be a human being, she's a monster now. Stay on your toes out there, or you'll end up losing your life.
Now the CF he wants us to kill is actually extremely challenging, so we'll be doing that a lot later.
Excuse me, I don't mean to take up too much of your time, but did you see some strange lights last night? Someone witnessed 3 stars falling from the sky. I thought it could be a meteorite of some sort, but there's no evidence of that anywhere. It's possible it burned up before it reached our atmosphere. If you see anything that looks out of place, please let me know. I'm counting on you. Come to me if you notice anything strange. By the way, the witnesses noticed something interesting about the stars. They said that all 3 of them were different colors. 3 different colored stars falling from the sky. It sounds like it could be connected to something quite mystical, don't you think?
So Lester's quest we can do right away, and if you just go over here, you can throw Kupo, Mog, or whatever his bloody name is, behind these boxes, and loot an old battery, which is for a quest item for one of the quests in the other Yaschas Massif that we're doing. So we can return there soon and hand that quest in.
I've been praying. Everything changed. A lot of time has passed. I used to believe, but I've come.
Anyway, for now, let's head out and do this quest for Lester. We've got to collect his 3 crystals. They're all quite close to each other. And they're quite close to the gate that we can now use. So just keep heading down south. I wouldn't advise running away from any battles, since we're going to need the CP. And they're hard to run away from in this area anyway. Now we're going to be going south, like I said, but don't go really close to the southwest area, the open area in the southwest, because that's where the CF is, and it will literally mincemeat your characters if you enter combat with it at this stage. Of course, you're welcome to try, but I wouldn't recommend it. So just a little bit up here is the first crystal for Lester's side quest. It is hidden, but that's why you're watching a walkthrough, isn't it? So just look down this hole here and you can throw Mog down to collect it. So we've got 2 more to collect and they're not far away. In fact, they're right next to the gate that we're going to be using, so that's handy. On this stone rock that's lifted up from the ground, you can use your Moogle Hunt to access the next crystal. And then just keep heading down south. And you can see the gate that we're going for. And just behind here, as you come down, is the final crystal. But before we go and hand that quest in, we'll use the gate. Otherwise we'll go up, hand it in, and have to come all the way back down to use it again in order to activate it. So we'll head back to the Historia Crux, but something seems to be wrong when we get there.
No, we can change the future, can't we?
We can, and we will. Then we can go back to homes that we've made safe.
Lightning. Thanks to Hope, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. He told us that if we solve the paradox, we can save the future. Meanwhile, in his own way, and in his own time, Hope is working toward the same goal. Together, we can keep Cocoon safe. And if we do, then I know I'll be able to bring you home. I believe this with all my heart.
Times must I see this?
Okay, so you can ignore the locked location and you want to go to the Void Beyond. We'll only be here for a few moments, and then everything will be back to normal, so don't worry.
Is this where I think it is?
What? You mean Valhalla?
Could lightning be here?
No. Something's different. This isn't Valhalla. It looks like it, sure, but it's not the same.
This is the rift between gate and gate. It's the void beyond, Kupo.
So, are you saying we're lost?
Kupo.
Right.
Kupo.
I need a break. Finding my sister isn't gonna be easy.
We had a legend back home about a goddess.
Huh?
We hunters passed the story down from father to son. It gave us strength when times were tough.
What was it?
Never give up, for the goddess Etro watches always and helps those who help themselves.
It's not much of a legend, really, is it? It sounds more like common sense to me.
Yeah. But when the going gets rough, you don't need anything complicated. Just a reminder to stick things out. Let's just keep telling ourselves that every time we go through a gate, we're getting closer to lightning. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Now we're actually already done here. We can return to that paradox and everything will be back to normal. But there's a few chests we can loot while we're here, so just over here is the map for this area.
Let's go check it out.
We will be returning to this place later in the game and we can access more of it. So once you've grabbed the map, there's a couple of chests we can get early by throwing Mog to them. Just head down to the fence a little bit more. And there's one on either side, so there's one over here. You can just see it over there. You might just have to stand back a bit to get Mog over the fence. And there's one on the other side. We can't get over this.
Oh, good. We can't get past. That way.
Okay, and there's nothing else we can do here for now, so once you've got those two chests and the map, you can head back to the paradox. There is more to this area, like I say, but we won't be coming back until a bit later. So now the Historia Crux has returned to normal, you can head back to Yaschas Massif, 01XAF. And we'll go and hand in this quest to Lester, and there'll be a few bits and bobs we need to do here as well. So starting from the gate down south, you want to basically head all the way back up north. Again, I would advise that you just get through the fights that are here, don't bother running from them. We need all the CP we can get at the moment. And unfortunately in this area there's no really big CP rewards, apart from for the couple of fragments that we get. But we get a couple of 100 each. We can't get up there without a chocobo, which we'll be doing in the area we went to earlier, 10AF, shortly. One of the downsides, I think, to this game is there is a lot of running to do. It would be nice to have like a fast travel option, but then I suppose we wouldn't be collecting all the CP that we're collecting.
I better take him for a walk later.
Okay, so we want to find Lester. He's just over here, he's moved.
There's a theory that implies the past can be affected by future events.
You found 3 crystals, all of a different color? Can I see them? These must be what fell from the sky. And I can only think of one explanation for what they are. Of course, I must warn you, it's not a very scientific explanation. Even though I'm a scientist, I try to keep an open mind. This is why I think it's possible there's some truth behind what I read in an ancient transcript. Long ago, the seeress of Padra offered 3 prayers to the night sky and made a prophecy. She predicted that her 3 prayers would take the form of stars and fall from the sky in the course of time. The colors of the 3 stars were stated clearly in the prophecy. It just so happens that they match the colors of the crystals down to a T. This can't just be a coincidence of some sort. The crystals are yours to keep. The people of ancient times believed that the prayers of the seeress had powers of protection. This is her gift to you from the past.
Living in the past.
We've actually got another quest we can do now. And so long as you've been following this video walkthrough, you'll already have the items you need for it. So we can pick it up and hand it in straight away for an easy fragment.
So tell me, have you run into the Seath I told you about? When you fight a Seath, you have to forget that it was once human. If you dwell on that fact, it could easily get you killed. You don't want that, do you?
Okay, the person we need to talk to is right over here in the corner.
Nothing to report today.
And he'll just want an item off us, like I said, that we should already have.
This can't be. This is horrible. Can you spare a minute to listen to my ramblings? We uncovered a stone tablet, only to have it broken into pieces by some monsters. We hadn't even deciphered the engravings yet. We thought we had made the discovery of a lifetime, but now that dream has turned to dust, literally. I would give my right arm and more to go back in time and retrieve it before it gets damaged. You're going to search for the tablet? Don't be absurd. Like I told you before, it shattered into a million pieces. It's gone. No other relic compared to that tablet in value. I don't see how you'd be able to get your hands on something like that. Wait, is that... This can't be. That's the tablet that shattered into pieces. Where did you get it? It's the real thing! The stone tablet tells the story of an ancient myth. According to some legends, the people of Cocoon and the people who lived on Pulse many years ago were born from the same ancestors. Can you imagine people from 2 different worlds being related by blood? It turns out the people on Pulse spoke a language quite similar to ours, so the legend may not be as far-fetched and absurd as some may think. I think we finally found a piece to a very important puzzle. The puzzle of our history, our background, our evolution.
Fantastic, a nice easy fragment. And now there's one more quest we want to do before we leave. So let's jump on this chocobo. And for this quest we should also have the item that we looted earlier, so we can pick it up and hand it in. And this is the final thing we need to do in this area for the time being. We do need this chocobo, by the way. Since we're going to the area that... sorry, I said earlier it was in the other time period, but it is this one that we can only reach with the chocobo. And we'll be looking for somebody called Bridget. We can just see them up there.
See this flower? Isn't it the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? It's called the flower of Fenrir. It only bears fruit once every couple hundred years, during the time of the eclipse.
Unlike most flowers, it requires complete darkness to go through the process of bearing fruit. It's an amazing subject to research, but as you can see at this stage, it's still a flower. I don't know exactly how long it'll take or when it'll produce fruit, but I do know it's unlikely that it'll happen in my lifetime. But I can still hope, can't I? Really? You're willing to search for the fruit of Fenrir for me? I don't think it's possible to find one when there's no eclipse. Or do you know something I don't? Is there a secret way to obtain one? You say you found something that resembles the fruit? But how can that be? This is it. I can't believe my eyes. I don't know how you did it, but you found one! Thank you so much! Now I can focus on the research I've always wanted to do. I can finally figure out how this fruit is able to grow in complete darkness. Ever since the Fal'Cie became dormant, the weather on Cocoon has been pretty miserable. There are always dark clouds in the sky. I want to engineer a plant that will help cheer people up. I know many people have abandoned Cocoon, but I want to show people that no matter how grim things might be, there's always hope. Just like this flower can bear fruit without light.
Okay, so that was the item that we got in the other Yaschas Massif area, and if you did miss that or you haven't been following the walkthrough exactly, then you can just watch the older video on Yaschas Massif 10AF where we loot those couple of quest items we just handed in. We're done here for now though, so we're going to head back to the Historia Crux. And there's actually a couple of quests we can do now in the other Yaschas Massif area. So we'll head there for now.
Time and memory.
A couple more quests have opened up for us. And the good thing is, if you go to the Historia Crux from the other time zone on your Chocobo, then you'll still be on it when you enter here. Although you don't need the Chocobo right now to get to where we're going. So we want to speak to somebody around here. It's not this person, I don't think. It's Brenda. But we can't talk to her just yet, so we'll go and do the other quest first and then we'll come back. Yeah, it's not that. We'll go and hand the battery in that we looted from behind the boxes. And it's not this one here, this one's the quest to find the watch.
If only the eclipse would end. It was a custom-made watch.
It's the person just up here. They are highlighted on the mini-map. Just over there.
Is this what I think it is? You really found one! How did you get your hands on something like this? Would this be enough to compensate you for your trouble? You say you want to know why I'm paying this much for a piece of junk? You two popped out of that gate, didn't you? Well, in that case, I suppose you'll believe me if I tell you that. The reason I'm collecting things that can almost be classified as antiques is because I'm from the past. I'm a time traveler, just like you. I was thrown into the future by a paradox, and so far, I haven't been able to find my way back. But please don't tell anyone else about my situation. I love my life here, and I don't want anything to disrupt that. I even have a beautiful wife who adores me. Can you get to the bottom of the mystery of the gates? I don't want more people getting swallowed up by a paradox and finding themselves in a foreign time. I made the most of it, but I don't know if others will be able to do the same.
Now we can head back to Brenda, and hopefully she'll be able to talk to us this time. Basically, I think you can only have 2 active quests per area at a time, which is why you can't always speak to somebody. I think it's 2. Yes, now there's a speech bubble.
You two are famous. People say that you're quite the swordsman. Do you care to prove that you're as good as they say? I recently received an urgent request from one of the labs at the Academy. They need a fang from a behemoth as soon as possible for a project they're working on. They don't want just any fang, though. They need one that's in pristine condition. Unfortunately, with the military's current weapons, there's no possible way to take down a monster of that size without ruining its fang in the process. Now that you know the situation, if you happen to come across any, would you mind sharing them with me? I know it's a lot to ask, but it would help me out so much. Thank you. I appreciate this. If you're as good as they say, this should be easy. Once the Academy gets their hands on an adequate sample, they're going to use it to research all sorts of things, such as the monster's biology and evolutionary background. A behemoth fang? And it's in such good condition. I can't believe you managed to get this. So the rumors were true. You two are nothing less than excellent. The Academy scientists will be thrilled. Once the lab gets a hold of this, they'll be able to figure out everything they need to know about the monster, like where it comes from. Did the paradox bring this beast from the past or from the future? Is it the creation of the foul sea, humans, or Mother Nature? What you brought us will give us the answers we've been searching for. I want to thank you for helping me out of this predicament. Here, take this as a token of my appreciation.
If you are still having problems killing the behemoths in this area for the fang, because they are very tough actually, then just come back at your own pace when you're ready to do that quest. So I've come back to 01 XAF because we're going to go to another area now. So we're going to head to the other gate on the west hand side. It's an area that you have to visit in episode 4, but we're going to go there a little early since there's a couple of monsters I want us to farm and collect, a good healer and also a synergist as well. So use one of your wild artifacts, you should have a few by now, to unlock the gate. And then back at the Historia Crux, we'll have unlocked Augusta Tower 300 AF, and that's where we'll be heading to the next video. There's a few puzzles involved in this zone, so be ready for those, but I'll explain them all. This has been Fuzzfinger, thank you for joining me, I'll see you next time.